Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another fascinating guest. On the show, we interview celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, multimillionaires, athletes, performers to find out their path to success, how they're able to overcome adversity and challenges, and of course, their keys to success. And today's guest is definitely somebody who could share some insight into that because she is so good at what she does. She's been speaking to so many people all around the world on so many stages, empowering them, getting to be motivated, inspiring, and it's just a fascinating person to have on my show today. I'm very, very excited. I've had the privilege on being on her show, and her energy is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm just so excited. She's going to be amazing today. She is a show host, like I said. She is a person who believes that the greatest tragedy is wasted human potential, and she loves transforming companies and individuals with emotional intelligence, leadership, and of course confidence. She is an expert in human skills, soft skills. So please welcome TedX speaker, best-selling author, CEO, and founder of Rise Up For You, Ms. LENA NASSERDEEN.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for that. What a great intro. I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much for being here. Like I said, I've seen some of your speeches. They're absolutely phenomenal. Your energy is absolutely amazing, and I had to bring up the energy level. So once again, thanks for being here. So tell me, how did you become this amazing speaker who has so much great expertise in what you do today?
Oh my gosh, how much time do you have? Well, you know what? I think when I reflect upon it today, every career that I've had before building my own business and speaking has kind of led up to this journey. You never know how your past is going to serve your future. But I really started, believe it or not, I was a performer, my first career. And so I used to tour the world internationally as a singer and a dancer. And I think obviously that's contributed to my speaking today, because giving me a microphone and being on stage is not a fear of mine. You know, I've had the great honor of singing on stage in a multitude of different countries for thousands of people. And so I started there and I absolutely loved it. And I would say that a good portion of my emotional and social intelligence was also built as a performer. Because, you know, when you're in a room, when you're on stage, you're trying to read the room, like what's the best way to perform? How can I make sure the audience likes what I'm doing? And then also a lot of the countries that we went to, they didn't speak English. So even just as a person and as a performer, understanding how to communicate in different cultures and organizations. So I started there. And then, you know, after I kind of hung up my shoes and the microphone, I came back to the US and I became an executive of an education corporation. I've always been really passionate about teaching, inspiring. And so I became an executive at 27. And then in the evening, I was teaching at a community college. So all of those things, I think, are led right into where I am today, which is why I'm either on stage or I'm training, coaching, and developing, which is obviously very connected to the teaching space.
That is absolutely amazing. When you say, believe it or not, you used to perform, like, no, I kind of had an inkling once I saw you sing. So okay, when you put up, when you were finished doing the performance stuff,
Yeah.
You decided to go into training and coaching and all that stuff. What was that transition like? How did you go? Usually they will go, hey, I'm going to start teaching dance or teaching singing and coaching in that area in the arts, but you went a completely different route.
Yeah, well, remember I went into education first. So I was an executive and then I was teaching in the nighttime and I was doing that. So when I was teaching, for example, I was teaching leadership and then I was also teaching like performance, stage etiquette, vocal, that kind of stuff. So when I was teaching, it was a combination of leadership and the performing arts, right? So that was like a very smooth transition, as well as being an executive. But where the switch happened is that when I want to say I was 31 years old. That's when I had a huge pivotal moment in my life, which led to the entrepreneurship path. So I actually had no intention of being an entrepreneur. It wasn't on my radar. I didn't know what coaching was. I didn't know what like team training and motivational speaking. I didn't know who Tony Robbins was, none of that stuff. And what happened is that by the time I was 31 years old, through a series of events, I basically lost everything. I went from a high functioning 6-figure executive to $100 in 2 luggage. That's all I had. And my dad had passed away from a heart attack. And then my mom was passing away. So by the time I was 31 years old, I lost everything. I had $100 and both of my parents had passed.
Wow.
And when I built that's when I started to build, is when I lost everything. I was like, well, okay, what's my next path? I replaced myself as an executive. I don't have a job. I don't have a car. All I have is 2 luggage and $100. I could go out there and start applying again. Or is there something more for me here? And that's when I decided, you know what, I think I'm going to build a business and I'm going to create a life that I want, which is freedom, flexibility, impact. And so I just started building. I didn't know what I was building. My mom was passing away at the time. I was building my company out of a hospital. I would take showers at the gym across the street. I would go back to the hospital. I would open up the laptop. How do you build the business? What's training? What's coaching? What do people need in the world? What am I good at? I went to a good portion of my friends and said, like, what am I good at? If you had to say what I was good at, what would it be? And hands down, every single person said, you are really good at pulling the potential out of people. Like you are a confident person. You know how to get people to push themselves. You are great as a teacher. You're such a good coach. Like you changed my life, which I say all humbly. But these are the things that I was hearing like collectively across the board. And I was like, okay, can I make something out of that? Like, is that a career? And sure enough, I could. And I also fused in with that what I was seeing as an executive and as a professor, which was a lack of these human skills, which is exactly what it is: potential, confidence, emotional and social intelligence. And that's kind of how it was created. And fortunately enough, today we're in over 50 countries and we work with everything from Google down to local nonprofits. So it's obviously it was a need and it's still a need. We're still growing as a business, but we're definitely on the right track.
That is absolutely amazing. Now, for you, when it comes to confidence, how do you garner the confidence for you to do what you need to do?
Honestly, I give full absolute credit to my parents. My parents are the ones, and people ask me this a lot, where does your confidence come from? Confidence starts when you're born, when you're young. It's definitely a skill that can be built, right? I talk about building confidence all the time, but you can, when you're born, okay, it really depends. I always say nature versus nurture. And I'm kind of like in the middle. I believe in both. That when you're born, we're all born with confidence. We're all born with like an unstoppable energy. Like think about babies, right? When they're crawling and they fall, they don't just sit on the floor and say, I'm going to stay here the rest of my life. Like they don't know that. They just know like intuitively, let me just like keep getting back up. But then your environment, right? Your environment is what shifts how you feel about yourself. And that's why I think that parenting and schooling and like your community is so important, to be around the right community, parenting, so on and so forth, because that helps you build your confidence. And I am so lucky and grateful every single day that I was born into a community and I was born to 2 parents that were amazing human beings that understood that. They understood that if my kids aren't confident and they don't love themselves and they don't know how to push themselves for them, not for society, not for their teachers, not for me, not for a paycheck, not for good grades, but if they don't understand how to have like internal motivation just because, then they're going to have a hard time in the world. And my parents taught me that, and they taught my 2 brothers that. My brothers are the same. Like we all just kind of like move and like, do and take action. So my confidence came from my parents and them, helping us make good decisions and teaching us to love ourselves, and also like pushing our potential and, really teaching us that nobody is better than us and we're not better than anybody else. And I think that's a really important lesson because it taught us that we're not inferior to anyone.
Right.
So when people try to put us down or when people try to make us play small, we didn't have that mentality of like, well, you're the teacher, so I guess I need to believe it. Or you're my leader, so I guess I need you to I guess I need to accept you treating me like this. No, that was like, we didn't have that. And that's where it came from.
Now, for you, with so much confidence, there must be something or one scenario where you felt, I don't know about that, or you felt that this may not work the way I want it to. So has there been a case where you could share where you go, that was where my confidence was wavering, and this is what I did.
Yeah. And I want to be clear that there's two types of confidence. Okay. There's confidence on a macro level. And I talk about this in my book, which is a belief in yourself. It's an inner belief in your ability to grow. It's a belief that you're not defined by all the things around you. So even if they don't work and they fail, you as a person are still worthy. You're still lovable, and you still have the ability to grow and be your best. That has never wavered. That has always stayed. Now, my micro level confidence, which is what, what I would say is what you're talking about, which is, building a skill or taking a risk or opportunity, all of those things exist outside of you. Oh, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that well. Or I don't, I wrote my book and I was like, I don't know if my book's going to be that great. Right. So there's lots of times where I'm like, this might not be the best thing, but it never changed how I felt about myself. And I think that's what that's one of the missions of our company, is to get people to understand that you can lack confidence in a skill, a competency, or a category, but you can't let that shift your internal confidence as a human being. Okay. Right. That they're two totally different things. So yeah, of course, I didn't have a lot of confidence when I first built my business when it came to business, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just building this from scratch. But I had confidence in myself to figure it out. Right. When I wrote my book, I was like, I'm not that great of a writer. I'm not confident in my grammar and my writing skill, but the macro level confidence was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. I'll get someone to help me. So I think that that's an important distinction.
Right. No, yeah, that's very, very important. And also surrounding yourself with the people around you who's able to encourage, push you, challenge you, and really give you the insight to succeed in what you're doing. Now, for you, you've helped a lot of people overcome certain fears, their self-confidence. When it comes to shyness and being out there and speaking, what's some of your tips or advice for people who wants to overcome shyness and speaking in front of people? What can they do?
Yeah, first, I think it's a mindset, okay, because I get this question a lot, I'm naturally an introvert or I'm an extrovert. And my response is always, you're everything. Everyone is everything. So I don't want people to put themselves in the box and think that they can't go out there and speak on stage because they're naturally an introvert. The reality is that I'm an introvert and I'm an extrovert. You're an introvert and you're an extrovert. And what we want to understand is the emotional intelligence around when do I use it? Right. So if you're trying to grow in your career and you want to be seen, I always say, be seen, be heard, be relevant. Now is not the time to be an introvert, because that's not going to help you be seen, be heard, and be relevant. Right. So I am actually the majority of the time an introvert, but now is not the time, on this podcast for me to be an introvert. Right. When I'm up on stage speaking, it's not the time for me to be an introvert. But if you were to ask my family and some of my friends when we socialize, I'm pretty introverted, and that's fine. But I just know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. But what I would say is that if you're feeling shy, always ask yourself why. Because remember that your beliefs dictate your behaviors. So the behavior is that you feel shy and withdraw, right? You're withdrawn and you feel shy. Now, the question is why? What's associated to that behavior? And that's what we need to figure out. Your beliefs dictate your behaviors. And if you want to shift the behavior, you have to shift the belief.
Now, obviously, people can sense this energy from you and the passion that you have and this positivity that you have. How do you maintain that? Because you can't tell me you wake up going, I feel great every single morning.
No, I don't. No, absolutely. I'm a human being. There's times, even yesterday, I got, I've been flying a lot. I got back at maybe 5 o'clock and I just literally laid on the couch and I'm like, and there was definitely a moment where I'm get up and go do something, be productive. But then the second thought was, it's fine. Just lay on the couch. It's okay. But I do a lot of, I like to think I do a lot of things for myself to preserve my energy so that I can use it. I work out pretty much every day, almost every day. I do gratitude. I always give thanks to God. So, I do typically wake up in a positive mode because I believe in something that's higher than me, which is God. And, I feel grateful. I feel grateful for what I have. And that really helps me stay positive for, as much as I can. Again, so I take care of my body. I try to surround myself with really positive people. I have pretty good behaviors that support me. I get 8 hours of sleep or more every single day. I don't drink. I don't consume things that are unhealthy for me. Like there's a lot of things that I do that just support the energy that I have. And I'm really good at setting boundaries. Like I'm really good at saying, like, that doesn't fit where I'm going in my life right now. So the answer is no. Thank you for thinking of me. So it's all about like process of elimination. If it's not going to add to where I'm going and what I'm trying to do, it's a clear no.
I see. No, that also goes down to time management as well. Blocking certain things and whatnot. How do you balance life, work, family, and all that stuff? Because you're a busy person. You're all over the world, right? So
yeah, and honestly, we're all busy. So I try not to say that I'm busy because I don't know one person that's not busy, right? I always say that busy blocks your blessings, but I have 3 calendars. I have 3 calendars. And I do that because I want to be able to make time for my health. I want to be able to make time, to take my dog to the dog park. I want to be able to make time to go to the pool and relax and spend time with family. And I know that it's not about being busy. It's about prioritizing. Right. So I have a calendar that has everything in there, not just my work, because my work is not the only thing I care about. So I have a calendar that prioritizes my work. It prioritizes myself. It prioritizes family. It prioritizes like all the pillars of my life that I want to nurture and pour into. So I think that that's really important because, when people say like, I'm too busy for this, I'm like, nope, don't say that. What you're really saying is that it's not important to you. It's not a priority and you don't care about it. Say what you want. You could say you're busy all day long, but the reality is that what you're really saying is, this isn't important to me. It's not a top value of mine. Okay. And therefore I'm not going to make time for it. That's what it is.
Right.
So I think that it's an important mindset that needs to be shifted for many of us.
Now, for somebody like yourself, who's on so many stages, who speaks on so many different platforms on social media and whatnot, in this day and age, you have to be careful because one message might get you canceled. Does that trigger in your mind about, okay, what I can or cannot say, how I should say it, all that kind of stuff? Do you kind of avoid that kind of stuff? Or do you go, you know what? I know what my message is. I truly believe it. I'm going to say it the way it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both for me. So I'm really clear on what Rise Up For You is about. So therefore there's non-negotiables on what we don't talk about, right? So if I'm on stage and somebody asks me something about politics, I'm like, I'm not here for that because that's not a part of my brand and Rise Up For You. If if you're my friend or whatever, you want to go to coffee and then you want to have like an organic conversation as 2 people, okay, maybe we dive into that. But when it comes to me, like representing Rise Up For You, like we're really clear that we're supporting, soft skills and that kind of thing. Like politics is not a part of our organization and company. So I'm not going to dive into something that's not a part of the brand, right?
Right.
I will tell you this. If it is a part of the brand, like let's say women in leadership.
Yeah.
Like cancel culture is not something I worry about. Because one of my values is integrity. Sorry, my puppies are going nuts. So, hey, it's okay, honey. This is real life. Integrity is a part of my values and I won't compromise my integrity. If I have something to say about, like, let's say diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's obviously a controversial topic that has to do with human skills, I'm not worried about cancel culture. In fact, I think that cancel culture sometimes, it kind of makes individuals play small and it makes them not have integrity and go against themselves. And I'm not about that. So I'm really clear that if I get asked a question, I'm gonna answer to what feels good to me in the organization.
No, I know you have a lot of stuff on the go. You're flying out soon again. What are you excited for in the next year, 2 years now? Like what are you working on? How do people find you? All that stuff.
Yeah, the thing that I'm really excited about that we continue to grow and grow and grow is our digital platform. So we currently have a Rise Up For You global membership. It's all on soft skills and success. We have people from around the world that are in it, and we're just continuing to up-level that platform. So we have live training sessions, once a month with our team around the world. We have hundreds of videos on demand, all on these skills that no one's really talking about, confidence, imposter syndrome, public speaking, energetic presence, presence, time management, emotional and social intelligence, leadership. Like these kind of things are really important. And our entire platform is just on these skills. And no technical skills, right? Which are awesome, but we're really clear that we're all about the human aspect. And so our platform every day is growing and growing and growing, and we're really excited about that. Mm-hmm. And of course, just the expansion. Like every time we get brought into a new country or, you know, a new client or a new company, that's our opportunity to create expansion with our clientele.
Okay, so we're going to put you on the world stage again. You have the whole world listening to you. What is one message you want everybody to remember NENA for? Your legacy message.
Your success is determined by your self-worth. It does not matter how many degrees you have, how much money you make, what role you have. If you don't love yourself, you're never going to be able to make the impact that you want to make in the world. I always say that when you don't feel like you're enough, nothing you do and no one you come across will ever be enough for you.
Great and very powerful words there. Hopefully everybody lives up to that and takes that to heart. Before I let you go, I got 5 quick questions, rapid fire. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. All right. Stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life. No consequence.
Pizza.
Hollywood calls and goes, hey, Nana, we really love your story. You have an amazing life. We want to do a biopic on you. Who would you cast to play you?
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez shows up at your front door. Is like, woo, I'm casted to play you. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun. Let's get to know each other. What is that night out with Jennifer Lopez like?
Oh, for sure. It's going to the pool. We're going to get a pool here in Las Vegas at the top of a hotel. And we're just going to relax at the pool and enjoy the strip lights. That's what we would do.
Now you go, hey, I'm not going to take you to no fancy restaurant. You're coming back to my place. I'm going to cook you something special just for you. What's your special dish?
Oh, it's going to be Lebanese food, which is like multiple dishes.
Awesome. When it comes to being stuck in a car and you have one song to hear for the entirety of hours and hours of driving, what's that one song you don't mind listening to?
Oh, that's a really good question. One song that I wouldn't mind listening to. Oh, that's a tough one. You got me. You stumped me there.
Because you don't want to get sick of it, right? So.
Yeah, you stumped me there. I don't know. I'm a music fan, right? I performed for so long, so I have there's so much music that I love. Maybe probably something from Celine Dion.
Awesome, powerful stuff. Give me a number from 1 to 3.
2.
1, 2. So if you had to compare success to an elephant, how is success like an elephant?
Say that one more time. If I had to compare success to an elephant.
How is success like an elephant? So using elephant as a metaphor for success.
Okay, using elephant as a metaphor for success. I would say that success, it's constantly growing, just like an elephant, okay? So when you think about it, when an elephant is born, obviously, just like any species, it's born small. And it grows and it grows, and it can grow rapidly, right? And it cannot grow rapidly as well. But no matter what, the elephant as an animal is still incredibly strong. It has a lot of strength. So even if its growth is minimal, as an animal, it's still a strong being. And I think that I would relate that to human beings, and that even if you have minimal success in your life when it comes to your career or whatever, you as a human being are still unique. You're strong. You have everything you need to succeed.
Nicely done. So that's how success is like an elephant. Cool stuff. Any final words from you that you would like to share? And once again, how people could find you?
No, I think we nailed it. I think that, one thing that I would say is just do the work on these skills. I think a lot of times we attribute success to getting more degrees, again, the job, the money, that kind of thing. But really, honestly, if you want to get to those places, you got to be able to stand out. And the things that are going to help you stand out are the soft skills. That's the game changer. 75% of individuals, they derail their career and their life because they haven't cultivated these skills, right? So that's what I would say. And we have a ton of resources that you can tap into completely for free. So if you go to riseupforyou.com, instantly you'll see a little drop down, And we have a master success course that teaches these skills. It's totally free. It's all about success as a whole leader. It's emotional intelligence, it's confidence, it's public speaking, and how your energy impacts the world. So you can check that out. And then of course you can follow us at Rise Up For You on any platform, and then connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm not a bot on LinkedIn. I'm the one that, connects, and I send messages, and all of my social media on LinkedIn is done by me. So that's a great and easy way to reach me personally.
Nice stuff. Okay, so everybody make sure you connect with Nana. Lots of great content, lots of free stuff too. So you're going to all love it because her stuff is absolutely powerful and it works. And thank you very much for being here. It was a joy seeing you, speaking with you. And until next time, we'll meet again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. She's Netta. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.